but we winning though. They used to laugh at us, now we winning though. They used to tell
What's going on, folks? Welcome to another episode of Strong Arm Sports. I'm one of your hosts, KSpadeTheProspect.
I'm your boy LaParis57, and together we form Strong Arm Sports. That's right. Got a great show for you guys today, but before we get into all that, I want to say happy holidays to all you guys. Hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. Hope you guys will have an amazing holiday moving forward. But before we get into the show, K-Spade, can I ask you something?
What up? Yeah, what up, man?
Me and you had a little wager that we did not pay up. You did not pay up, Spade. The Florida State Noles did beat the Miami Hurricanes, and you were supposed to do something on one of the shows.
It's old now, man. I'm sure people don't even really want to see
it. They want it. They want it. They want it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they want it. I think they want it.
This is the chop?
That's right.
I got to make the noise.
Yes, you got to make the noise. That was the bet.
I got to make the noise, too?
You got to make the noise, too. Yeah. That's right. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You guys should have lost. We didn't talk about that. They should have lost, but we won't go there. Go ahead, man.
You know, we got an amazing show for you guys today, so I'm going to kick it off.
All right, let's go.
Let's talk about Ray Rice being reinstated. Ray Rice was reinstated by the NFL. He went through an arbitrator, and they said Ray Rice, you know, double jeopardy could not go down, and Ray Rice is back in the NFL. So what I want to ask you is, do you see a team taking a chance on Ray Rice?
I don't know, man, because, I mean, if we be honest here, Ray Rice's production numbers was going down every year anyway. I mean, I think his last 3 or 4 years, his production has gone down every year. And that's not to say necessarily that he couldn't help a team. I'm sure he could help a team, but I don't think Ray Rice is that guy that teams over there like, oh, we got to get Ray Rice. Running backs, as you and I both know, we talk about this a lot. Running backs, they value not too high in the league anymore. Every team has 3 or 4 running backs. Everybody has the running back by committee. I remember when it was only a few teams doing that running back by committee. Everybody had a feature back, but that's not the case anymore. And I don't know, man. Ray might have really put himself in a bad spot considering what the league is right now with running backs.
I 100% agree with you, but I'm gonna tell you one team. That I think will take a chance on Ray Rice, and you might agree with me after I tell you. And that's the New England Patriots.
Oh, definitely.
But you know, because you want to know what they can get him cheap. They know if he don't fit the system or if he go in there acting crazy, he's going to be out of there. He's going to be out of there ASAP. Or they'll just keep him on the roster, hold him to the playoffs, like they did Ocho Cinco. Yeah, Ocho Cinco on the team the whole year, and he was on the bench the whole year. So
whole year.
New England is the type of team that will sign a player, so another team won't sign a player. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
that's true.
I can see,
and they probably could get them right too. They run like a no nonsense policy out there. They'll get you right.
I'm telling you. To me, Ray Rice, Blunt, they got the young kid Gray that kind of got into some trouble last week for missing a meeting, and he was benched the whole game. I think if they was able or wanted to sign Ray Rice, I think it'd be a nice little fit over there in New England. Scary.
I don't know that they want him because, like you said, they just picked up LeGarrette Blount, but I definitely agree that that's the one team that could really pimp this situation. Yeah, but you know how we do, man. Let's stay on football. I got more football news if you're ready to move forward.
Yeah, let's move on. We can move on.
All right. So unless you live under a rock, this past week, I know you saw the Odell Beckham Jr. catch.
Yeah, the 3-finger catch.
Back. 3-finger, it was an amazing catch, but people started to come out and say it was possibly the greatest catch ever. Ever's a long time, man. How you feel about that?
I mean, I'm one of the few people that probably agree, man. It's one of the best catches I ever seen. And yes, man, I've seen a lot of football Spade. Ever in my life? Yes, that's the best catch I ever seen in my life.
That's not the best catch. It's a great catch.
Spade.
And I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, before the Giants game, they were showing Odell Beckham in the pregame like warm up.
Yeah.
He was snatching passes out the air. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't just catching them with one hand. They would be going by him and he would snatch them out the air with one hand. They even recently I saw this somewhere on Twitter. Somebody showed him returning a kick in college. He didn't actually return the kick, but they was kicking it out the back of the end zone and he threw one hand up and caught it. So I mean, he's really good at that. And the catch was amazing. But there are some other catches that come to mind that I felt like was equally, if you want to do a degree of difficulty, that was pretty good. But I mean, for the stakes of the game, it didn't win the game. It wasn't the immaculate reception or anything. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
So, I mean,
but
I still want to say,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think the greatest catch I saw was by our old Alabama Crimson Tide receiver. I can't remember his first name, but I think his last name was Prothrow. And he's running, he's looking back for the catch, and the pass is short. And he reaches around the defensive back and caught it around that guy.
Yeah, like a bear hug.
And held on to it. Yeah, like flipped over, held on to him and took it down to the ground.
Yeah.
That was an amazing catch. So this was a great catch. And speaking of, before we move forward, Brent Grimes said that his catch was nicer than this catch. What you think about that?
Nah, Brent Grimes cheeks. Chill out, Brent. Brent Grimes.
Brent Grimes is cheeks? Come on, man.
He's not cheeks. His catch was cheeks. It was not as good as Odell Beckham. And for him to say that, Brent Grimes, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes.
You hating, man.
But
Brent Grimes like 5'3.5", man, and he dove up and stretched out and made that catch. That was a great catch. Brent, you like 1B.
Yeah, and he was defending Calvin on that too. So
yes,
I mean he was defending Calvin. But let me tell you what I liked about what Odell Beckham said after the game. Odell Beckham won. He said, it was a great catch, but we lost. I love that. You know what I mean? He was like, I made a great catch, but we lost, so it don't matter. I love that.
Agreed.
And he said, y'all saying this the best catch. I'm hoping I could do 100 more catches better than this. I love that too. Like, a lot of people that get big head like, oh, really? It was the best catch? Really? Odell Beckham said, I have better, and we didn't win the game. So let's move on. I love that about that
agree.
kid.
I like that too. And to be honest, I like him. I've been watching him this season. Didn't watch him that much in college.
Yeah.
But, him and Brandon LaFell, maybe they was being held back in college. Both of these guys look really good right now.
Yeah, they do. You ready to move on?
He could be that guy in the future.
You ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go. What else you got?
Let's talk about RG3 being benched. Oh,
this guy.
Boy. Let me tell you. First, before you even go, Spade, let me go. Because I am tired of talking about RG3. Wow, and you know what, man? And I'm telling you, his time is up in Washington. When you get benched for Colt McCoy, you got benched for Colt. Like, RG3 should go home, look at his wife, and be like, baby. She'd be like, yeah, RG, I just got benched for Colt McCoy. Like, he ain't get benched by nobody that was an elite guy. Colt McCoy couldn't get it done for the Browns. And Brian Hoyer over there doing just fine. But he got benched for RG3 went in the press conference, threw his teammates under the bus, then came back and said he wasn't talking about anybody in particular. Deshaun Jackson came out and had an issue with that. He fired some shots. And, man, RG3, when he gets sacked, he gets murdered. Like, the offensive line is not even trying to block for that guy. Like, they not even trying to block for that guy. And I'm tired of RG3 talking. I'm tired of seeing his face. I'm tired of him making excuses for everybody else and not taking the blame for himself. You hear any other quarterback, Peyton Manning have a bad game, and Peyton Manning be like, it's on me. The offense starts with me. That's what a quarterback in the NFL is supposed to do. RG3, I want you to shut up. I want you to learn the playbook and stop making excuses.
Relax. Hold on.
That's what I want, Spade. I'm tired of RG3,
Let me tell you. Now, I agree. I agree with everything you said. Coming out of Baylor, I was a big RG3 supporter. And over his tenure, his short tenure in the league, he's pushed me further away from being his supporter. Probably mainly because of the dumb things that comes out of his mouth. But I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't think it's necessarily over. Mm-hmm. And you know, like I know, the one way to get back in the good graces with the fans, with your team, with your teammates, with your coaching staff is by producing.
That's right.
So I don't think either of us thinks Colt McCoy is the answer out here in DC.
Absolutely
Colt McCoy is
not.
going to come in and put a Band-Aid on it. Eventually, he's going to stink the same way he stunk other places in the league. And they're going to have no choice but to give RG3 another shot. Now, if his big mouth don't get him in trouble while he's waiting, he can sit back, chill, relax, get more healthy, because that's still a question mark as to whether or not this guy is completely healthy. And then when Colt start to screw up, they're going to put him back in. If he wins, if he comes out and produces, they love him again, man. That's how it goes.
And Spade, can I say something? It might be a little controversial, but I got to say it.
Uh-oh.
It might be a little controversial, but I got to say it. In RG3, RG3 got to realize the place where he's at. He's in Washington, D.C. It's a lot of African-American people there. RG3 could be hurting the next potential black quarterback moving forward that they think is a quote-unquote prima donna. Because, there was a lot of talk about RG3 coming out of college. He was a prima donna, and he was worried about starting his own brand. And all. It was a whole bunch of that coming out.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming out of him coming out of college, excuse me. That was the whole comparison between him and Andrew Luck. They were saying, well, RG3 is a prima donna, and Andrew Luck just want to play football. And you know what? The first year, it looked like everybody was wrong on RG3. But now, right now, it looked like everybody was right about RG3. And he might be hurting. He might be hurting the next African American quarterback that they think is a quote unquote prima donna.
Well, that's true. And I'll buy some of that. But actually, what you said in that statement right there, you just kind of made my point. The first year, RG3 did prove everybody wrong.
Yeah,
he played well. His teammates didn't dislike him in that first year. They were winning. RG3 gets hurt. RG3 probably rushes back and then looks okay and eventually gets hurt again. So, I mean, when we saw healthy RG3, he looked okay. And everybody's happy when you're winning. I mean, they didn't go out there and win the Super Bowl, of course, but they looked pretty good.
But who
knows, man? I don't think it's over for RG3.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's over for RG3. It may be over in Washington. Hopefully his mouth hasn't ruined his career for him, because we've seen guys get blackballed out of the league. He wouldn't be the first. So, I mean, hopefully it's not too late. And if it's not, RG3, just zip it, man, and break it off and throw that mess out the window, man. Just play football, and they'll love you again.
I agree 100%. But my last point on RG3 is, speaking of the first year, they had a great year that first year when RG3 was there, but he didn't get along with the coaching, and it was
that's true.
Not a scuffle, but it was tension between him and Mike Shanahan. They didn't really get along that first year. They really didn't get along that first year. So it's always, ever since he entered the league, it's always been something with RG3, and I wanted to stop. Shut up. Move on.
Let's move on, man. Let's jump into some NBA news. I want to talk about Derrick Rose. I think since the last time we met up to speak with you guys, Derrick Rose has been back, he's been out, and he's been back again.
Oh, my God.
I say it all the time. I like Derrick Rose when he is on the court. He's fun to watch. He's explosive. He's amazing. But I just don't know. I don't know what to say about this guy, man. So, it's an 82-game NBA season. I want to ask you, what's your over or under on 41 games? Half the season. Do Derrick Rose play more than half this season or not? What you think?
I'm going to go over, but it's not a lot over. Might be 40. It might be 45 games.
You want to go barely over?
Yeah, I want to go 45 games or 50 games. But everybody know I'm a Bulls fan. I love Derrick Rose. When me and you was discussing Derrick Rose, before we even decided we was going to talk about it on the show, I asked you, I said, do you think Derrick Rose is faking? Do you think and I'm coming to, in my mind, I'm starting to think like, it's knee injuries are serious. He had surgery. Then he hurt his knee again. Then it was some ankles. Now it's a hamstring. And, Coach Tibbs is really getting tired of talking about Derrick Rose. Like, they asked him, like, well, is Derrick Rose going to play tonight? And he was like, man, I know he's going through a little. See, it's a different from being hurt and being injured. When you injured, you can't play. When you hurt, you got to play through being hurt. Everybody hurt. Right. Everybody's hurt. Like, and if your I know hamstrings is a sensitive piece of your body, and when it hurt, it hurt. But I mean, I remember, like, I keep throwing out Patrick Beverly. He played with a torn MCL in his knee the whole season. And to me, that's just a guy that just want to play some basketball. That dude want to play some basketball. To me, Derrick Rose was talking about he don't want to hurt his kid's graduation 30 years down the line. Come on, bro. Play ball.
So
Worry about today.
Wait. So you been a Chicago Bulls fan, you are. Are you questioning his toughness?
Yes. And
so you don't think he's tough?
It might not even be his toughness. It might be that I don't think he care no more, Spade. I don't think he care, man. I don't know what it is, but I just cannot figure it out with this guy, man. I don't think he care, man. That dude to be like the other Spade, you remember we was on the headset the other night. I said, "Oh, Derrick Rose playing. It's the first quarter. He cooking." I said, "He cooking." Then next thing you know, what I said,
timeline was going crazy.
Spade, second quarter, second half. What did I say? I said, "Where Derrick Rose at? He must have got hurt."
Right. You said, no, to quote you, you said something must be wrong because Derrick Rose is not out here. That's what you said.
I said he only played 9 minutes. Something up. Something is up. And I just can't
let me counter you. Let me counter you.
Okay.
And I tell people this all the time. Professional athletes, competitiveness and pride is a really big thing in all of these guys. You know, you sit in the barbershop and you hear people say, so-and-so don't want to be a backup. Man, if I was him, I'd sit on the bench and get that check. Yeah, because we don't have the level of competitiveness or pride that these guys got. And because I know he has to have both of those elements, I don't think he's already given up caring. I do think, and see, another thing that people underestimate is your confidence level. Confidence is huge in sports. More so than people who, and you know, you played at a very high level. I didn't play at a super high level, but people who play sports realize how important confidence is. Once you start to doubt yourself, it's over. And I wonder if Derrick Rose himself is afraid that he can't stay healthy. He would never verbalize that. He wouldn't go in an interview and say, "I'm afraid." He never said that. But I wonder if he says it to himself. So to go back to the original question on the over-under 41 games, I want to push here. Because I think even if he can play more, I just want to leave it right at 41. I think if Rose want to make sure Chicago gets to the playoffs. Because the last 2 years he hasn't played in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
All right, so 2 years. So this year, I think in his mind, he wants to play in the playoffs because he's getting a lot of criticism for not playing in the playoffs. Chicago took a lot of criticism for letting Nate Robinson go. Nate was cooking.
Yeah, I love Nate.
And they was like, "Oh, Derrick Rose is back. Bye, Nate."
Yeah,
and that's looking like a boneheaded decision. Now, they got lucky and they picked up Aaron Brooks. I've always liked this game. And he is looking like, hey, if Derrick don't want to play, y'all holler at your boy. I got y'all. Yeah, that's how he's looking right now.
Yeah. And I'm going to just say, I hope you are 100% right. I hope he goes back to that MVP form. But to me, the question is going to be then, if he only played 41 games, is he rusty moving on to the playoffs? That's what I'm concerned about. But I don't know. I can honestly tell you that I can't call it with Derrick Rose, man. I have no clue.
No one does. What else we got, bro?
Let's talk about Lance Stephenson. Now, if you guys didn't know, Lance Stephenson has been benched in the fourth quarter of the last couple of games. You know, his coach Steve Crawford said, Lance, he hasn't arrived yet. He thinks he's a superstar, and he's not. Lance, he said, this is what the coach said. Now, this isn't me talking. I'm just paraphrasing what the coach said. He said he isn't a star. He hasn't arrived yet. He got a big contract. You know, Michael Jordan went to Indiana and signed him personally. He was Michael Jordan guy. So he said that he thinks Lance Stephenson is feeling himself. Lance Stephenson thinks he's a superstar, and he's not. Wow. He also said that Lance Stephenson, a lot of his flaws were hidden because he played on a good team in Indiana. And he only averaged 13 points in Indiana. So he was like, you know, Lance Stephenson needs to get in the gym. You know, remember that he still needs work. You know, he said he has the potential to be a superstar, but he's not there yet. Before you go, Spade, let me just tell the fans.
Because you know Lance I'm ready Stephenson to go.
Is shooting, he's shooting 36% from the field and 20% from three. Ooh. Lance, stop shooting, Lance. Stop shooting, Lance.
I was going to defend that 36.
What do you think about that, Lance Stephenson?
I was going to try to defend that 36.
What do you think? Oh, let me hear something, Spade, because it's tough to defend.
No. I can defend the 20 though. But here's the thing. I have always felt this way about Lance Stephenson, and people get mad.
You have.
People really get mad with your boy because I've never seen that. The comparison I made, I compare Lance Stephenson to Joe Johnson. When Joe was in Phoenix, at any given time, Joe could cook. He would come out and cook, but he couldn't cook consistently, and he couldn't carry that team. And Atlanta broke him off like he was a guy who could carry the team. He came to Atlanta and he couldn't do it. And Atlanta fans hated Joe Johnson. In fact, I don't know about all the Atlanta fans, but the Atlanta fans I know, they changed the J. They called that dude Ho Johnson because he could go out there and he couldn't make it work. Seriously. He went up to Brooklyn. I've seen games where he come out and look like the man. And the next game, you got the stats and you looking, where's Joe? Joe way at the bottom. And I think Lance Stephenson is that same type of guy. I think he's a great player. He's a great Scottie Pippen type player. He's not a Michael Jordan type player. He's not going to carry your team. He's an assistant pimp. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a lot of assistant pimp. Somebody got to hand powder that powder. And Lance, you are that guy, Lance. That's what I think.
And another thing I want to say, you know, could Lance Stephenson be hurting the chemistry of the Charlotte Bobcats? Now, they like 4-13 or something. They was a playoff team last year with Kemba and Big Al. They thought Lance was
has.
You gotta
say he has, homie. Because look, he had there was some personality clashes in Indiana. You know, he would come out the game and not sit on the bench. He would go stand down there, you know, at the edge. Yeah, I think he was knocking up with fools back in Indiana.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I got that. That's all I got on that. You got more on this?
I mean, I just want Lance. I like Lance. You know, me and you go back and forth about Lance all the time. I like Lance. I want Lance stop doing the stupid stuff, punching yourself in the face, flopping, doing all that nonsense. Play basketball like we know you can. Play basketball like we know you can. Stop doing stupid stuff and get better. Get better. Come on, Lance. Let's move on.
He's a goon. All right, next for you guys, we just passed the first month of the NBA season. There are clearly some surprises out there, some for the good, some for the bad. Maybe that Hornets team we just talked about is one of your surprises. The top 3 teams in the league by record is the Memphis Grizzlies, the Golden State Warriors, and then the Toronto Raptors. Toronto, to me, is the surprise. I got to give it up. Like, I never really paid Toronto that much attention. They made the playoffs last year. They're a young, exciting team, but I never really looked at them as a true threat. But, they cooking the East. I mean, they like 3 games ahead in first place. They running the East right now. Could this team be for real? But before we get into that, what's your surprises? I'm sorry, I'm changing the subject. What's your surprise?
My surprise is definitely the New Orleans Pelicans. They 7-7. A lot of people done said that Anthony Davis was MVP worthy, and you know the Pelicans was to be reckoned with this year coming forward. And you got to look at the Pelicans and say, "Whoa, they in the West. The West is, you know, aside from them top couple of teams, the West is really down. You know, the Lakers is not the Lakers. The Lakers is not the Lakers. Oklahoma is not Oklahoma. You know, so it's some spots."
I don't know, bro.
But all I'm saying is there's some spots there to be taken. And I'm gonna tell you who responded: the Sacramento Kings. The Kings said, "You know what? If somebody don't want them spots, we gonna ball out over in Sacramento." So that's another one of my surprises. That's because
Boogie went off.
That's another one of my surprises.
Yeah, that's definitely a surprise. But speaking of, I don't know. I don't think anyone thought the Pelicans would be super nice this year, other than D Coop. Shout out D Coop if he's listening. But he's a homer, so of course he likes those guys. Yeah. Now everybody talked about Anthony Davis and him emerging into a star this year, and so far that's been true. But I mean the team is still lagging behind. I don't think I didn't really expect them to do much. But Toronto, to me, man, those guys are looking official tissue. I will be watching some Toronto games. I want to see what these guys got. And Toronto, do not let Drake anywhere near y'all court, man. He bad news. Bad news.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm good if you want to move on. You want to move on?
Yeah, that's all I got, man. Shout out to Toronto. I see y'all.
Yeah, Toronto, man. And the Kings, too, man. The Kings are playing better, man.
Definitely.
New Orleans Pelicans, step your game up, man. Give Anthony Davis some help. But let's move on. Let's talk about the Pick'em game. Let's talk about the Pick'em game. Wednesday,
what
December
game you got
3rd.
for us this week?
I got the Wednesday, December 3rd. I got the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Houston Rockets. Who you got and why?
Houston let your boy down. The last time I slid my chips over on Houston, and I didn't get those chips back. So, but no, seriously, when you look at these two teams, man, I like a team with a good inside-out combo. I believe that shooting teams, kind of like Duke, you know, Duke of old, they'll shoot you in a game, they'll shoot you out a game. So, for that reason, I like the Grizzlies because Marc Gasol has emerged. I remember when Marc Gasol was Powell's little brother.
Yeah.
That's all they knew. That was just Powell's little brother. But Marc looking like the real deal out there. I let it be known that I like Zebo. I like Zach Randolph's game. And I don't know, man. I just think when the shots aren't falling, it's easy to pass it into the bigs because they close to the basket. That's a high percentage shot. I like the Grizzlies.
I'm going to go with the Houston Rockets because James Harden. One, because of James Harden. I know I said Clay was better. Relax. I'm still going to go. I like the team to have the best players on the court, and to me, that's going to be Houston. Now, Dwight Howard has been hurt. Hopefully, he'll be back by that game. So let me hedge my bet right now. let me hedge my bet right now.
Pat Beverly's out right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Houston. I figured Dwight Howard should be back by Wednesday, hopefully. And it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a great game. But I'm going to go with Houston. James Harden, Dwight Howard, Ariza. I think they have enough to get past Houston in this game. Luckily, it's not a series. Because if it was a series, I would definitely go Memphis. But one game right here, I'm going to go Houston.
Okay. Well, let's move on, man. As you guys know, this weekend is rivalry week. In college football, you got UGA, you got Georgia Tech, you got Ohio State, you got Michigan, you got all of the big rivalries, Auburn, Alabama. And it made us get to this subject right here where we was talking about who is or what is the best rivalry in all of sports. Now, before you guys just start throwing out crazy names, I'm talking about over time because we could say Lakers Celtics, but both of those teams are really bad right now. So because teams go up and they go down, rivalries that was big once upon a time may not be big anymore. So it's tough to pick one. I would love to say Bears Packers, but that's not really a rivalry anymore. What was the last time the Packers looked at their schedule, saw Chicago, and got afraid or concerned? Never. Yeah. So I'm biased here, but I'm gonna go Florida State, Miami. And I know Miami is not the team we once were, but we still turn up every time we see FSU. We should have won that last game. We made some mistakes down the stretch and some bad coaching. I ain't going to go down that street, but I hate when teams get up and they play conservative. But that's a whole nother day, man. Florida State, Miami is mine. Who you like?
Y'all see he's still a little traumatized that I made him do the Florida State chop. But it's all right.
I'm a little tight, man, and I wanted to move forward with my life. You know?
Right. But my rivalry, I will have to go. I'm going to change things up. I know we usually talk NBA and college football and NFL. I'm going to go college basketball. I'm going to say Duke versus North Carolina. First of all, it always comes down to a buzzer beater. Always. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest players have came from these two programs. They always have elite head coaches. Roy Williams, Coach K, they had Dean Smith, etc. And, two of the winningest programs in college basketball history. How can you not go, regardless what type of season these teams are having, they always turn up to play Duke versus North Carolina. People camp out for that game. To me, it's one of the best rivalries in sports, hands down. You know what I mean? Wow. So I'm going to go Duke, North Carolina.
Sounds good, man.
Moving forward, we're going to talk about the strong arm performer of the week. So my strong arm performer of the week is definitely going to go to Oklahoma's freshman running back, Samaje Perine. He had 34 carries, 427 yards, and 5 TDs. He broke the record a week after Melvin Gordon set it. But I kind of got to kick Perine back in a little bit because Melvin Gordon did it in 3 quarters. Perine did it in the whole game. Now, if Melvin Gordon would have probably played the whole game, he probably would have had like 600 yards rushing against Nebraska.
He definitely would have had more than 427.
He definitely would have had more than 427. But, that's neither here nor there. Perine deserved to be my strong arm performer of the week. Who's your strong arm performance, babe?
I actually got my numbers wrote down, and most of the time I try to remember this, but you guys know it's the holiday time. Your boy been stuffing his face and spending time with family, so I had to write this down. But Russell Westbrook just returned. You know how that goes. Anytime a player returns from an injury, you never know what type of performance you're gonna get from him. Even though it was the Knicks, Russell went off for the tune of 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 dimes. Almost dropped the triple-double, man. And he's looking good. So to go back to last week, everybody who was saying that the 76ers would get that first win on OKC, take it back. Because Russell's back, and he ain't having that, all right?
Russell going to score more than the 76ers by himself.
You know? Russell looking at that 76er game like, ooh, I'm about to go off.
I'm about to get Kobe numbers when he dropped 81.
Exactly. Well, man, that's all we got for this week's show. As usual, man, we want to thank y'all for supporting the show. It's something new, and a lot of people don't like new. So for those of y'all that's coming through, filling up the comment section, debating back and forth with us, and just showing love, we can't thank you guys enough. We're going to continue to pack out this content, because I'm going to go get some more turkey and dressing right now. I took a turkey break to come in here and record this for y'all, man. So
Me too.
I just want to thank y'all for that.
Yeah, man.
Send us home, the players.
We appreciate y'all, man. This is Strong Arm Sports. See you guys next week. Comment, like, subscribe. Let us know who's the best rivalry in sports. We appreciate y'all, man. We'll see y'all next episode. Peace.
Yes, sir.